Cult of the Head was written from a place of really deep isolation. I had recently quit my career as a children's librarian. I was only like a few weeks into this new life of being a songwriter full-time. And even after like coming out of the solitude of the pandemic, this was like a whole new layer of isolation, being like alone in my house all day with just my thoughts and obviously music to sort of help me process that. The sort of initial idea of madness came from Jade's original title, which was Headcase 22. Jade knows how to like spark my inspiration for lyrics by giving me the occasional like literary title, and it usually works. The first words that popped into my head when I heard the music were stuck on a loop, tilt of the head, and it's enough to drive you mad. And I was like, those are just generic kind of phonetic things that are coming through. I don't need to use those, I'll just set them aside. And then one of the ways I was trying to deal with this loneliness I was feeling was to like connect to my ancestors, which I've never really explored that. I've never felt deeply connected to them. You know, occasionally I'd get a little whisper of like a passed on loved one who would give me a line to a song that I was struggling with, and it would be the breakthrough moment for me. And it never felt like it was coming from me. It felt like it was coming from someone who loved me and was trying to help me. So I got this Celtic tree magic because I wanted to make my own agwam set of divination sticks with little symbols carved on them. It felt like a cool way to connect with nature and my ancestors. So I was researching the alder tree in this book, and it mentioned Bran the Blessed, a giant king of Wales. And there's a story about him written in the Mabinogion, where in an attempt to like rescue his sister Branwen from a cruel king, everybody pretty much dies, and Bran asks his men to decapitate him with the promise that he will continue to guide them, sing to them, tell them stories, prophesize. And they carried this giant head with them to England, where it still sits. By the way, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, Bran was definitely based off of Bran the Blessed. His name means raven, sort of connected to prophecy. So I was sort of inspired by that and the mention of the cult of the head, and that just stood out to me as a really evocative phrase. It definitely played into this idea of madness and obsession and just being kind of trapped in your head that I was already kind of feeling. And I said, oh, that's the title for this song. So I put on my librarian cap, did a deep dive on all the stories and lore and history surrounding the Celtic cult of the head. Feel free to Google if you're interested. It's kind of fascinating, their obsession with collecting heads. And the reason for that being that they believed the soul dwelled inside of the head, the seat of the soul. So it makes sense that you'd want to collect the heads of your enemies to maybe like prevent them from coming back in another life and coming to get you. I don't know. But I thought, what a cool image for just like being a little crazy, being a little obsessed, living in your head, feeling detached from the world and your body, being dissociative. I mean, those are themes I think we all have felt in the past few years. And it's definitely where I was at the time, sort of emotionally, feeling really lonely and longing to connect. Like we all feel that in a sense. I think that's one of the most human, that's what makes us human, is that desire to connect and be seen and be acknowledged. And I even get teary-eyed talking about that in this moment, because even if you have everything you could ask for in this life, you can still in your heart be lonely. And in the end, at the end of the day, all we have is ourselves. And so it's also this longing to just be connected to my own soul. The image I kept seeing in my head over and over was of a sunken head and its body belly crawling to get back to its head. and that yearning to be connected, body, mind, and soul, like at the heart. Part of my job as a songwriter is, I think, to bring these ancient tales and mythology into like a really relatable human experience. So it does kind of become about a romantic obsession. I was reading this book at the time too, John O'Donohue's Anam Cara. And Anam Cara is your soul friend. Absolutely beautiful book. I can't recommend it enough. If you're soul searching or a poet or an artist, it's deeply inspiring. Everything written by John O'Donohue is. So I hope that gives you a little more insight into how much this song really like means to me. It's got so many layers to it. I think it's a beautiful piece of music that Jade wrote. It inspired me so deeply. I worked on it for 12 days. I remember just being sprawled out in the grass of my garden. And when I'm on these sort of like obsessions with an idea for a song, and I know what it's going to be about, I'm just trying to find the right words to fit the melody, I'll get little synchronistic things that assure me that I'm on the right path and to keep going, even though I'm like, this is day 10 of me trying to write lyrics for this song. Like, when am I going to have my aha? So I was like in my garden for hours, and I just noticed, like, I kept all the decor from the previous owners of this house, and they had taste and style. I don't. But they had all these cute little knick-knacky statues in the garden, kind of an English garden. And there's this one like bust, maybe of Mozart. I don't know who it is exactly, but the head looked a little off kilter. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And I went over to it, and sure enough, the head had been like severed. And I was like, fuck. That's just like one of a million examples of times where I'm like deep into writing lyrics for days, and the world just keeps saying like, yep, here's your concept. Here it is over here. It's in a license plate. It's on a mirror. It's in the clouds. Like, that happens to me all the time. And yeah, I just love this song so much. It means so much to me, and I'm so proud of it. I hope you guys like it too. Let me know what you think.